Well, the NPP party has released a statement asking majority MPs to abstain from the vote of censure against the Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta. The statement was released a while ago, and it says the leadership of the New Patriotic Party, following broader consultations and engagement with stakeholders, has resolved and hereby direct all members of the majority caucus in Parliament to abstain from a scheduled vote of censure being sought by the minority caucus against Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta, Minister for Finance. By this directive, the leadership of the majority caucus, especially the whips, are to ensure that no member of the majority caucus partakes in this exercise by the minority group in Parliament. While the national executive body acknowledges the prevailing socio-economic conditions in the country and the need for urgent remedial interventions, it is our utmost position that the demand of the NDC-led minority caucus is ill-intended and aimed at derailing government's efforts at resolving current socio-economic upheavals. Now, the leadership acknowledges that the Minister for Finance is the leader of government's negotiation team with the International Monetary Fund. Considering that negotiation with the IMF is nearly completed, the national executive body of the party strongly believes that the removal of the lead person spearheading the negotiation may adversely impact the progress made thus far. It is worth noting that when similar calls were made for the head of Mr. Seth Tekpe, the then Minister for Finance, during the socio-economic turbulence under the erstwhile Mahama administration in 2015, the NDC-led majority caucus objected to those calls and rose to the defense of Mr. Tekpe, a clear indication that the NDC lacks credibility on this matter. Accordingly, neither the NPP nor its members of Parliament will lend support to this mischievous move by the NDC legislators, as it is one of their many ill-motivated and self-serving but unpatriotic moves to sabotage the NPP government and frustrate the administration of the country. The leadership of the NPP wishes to assure our members of Parliament and the Ghanaian populace that there are ongoing internal engagement aimed at addressing legitimate concerns expressed by various stakeholders regarding the management of the economy, including calls for the resignation or dismissal of the Minister of Finance. And this statement is signed by Justin Frimpong Kodia, who is General Secretary of the party, and he joins us on phone now to help us understand more. Thank you so much, Mr. Kodia, for joining us. Now, this is an issue where a lot of Ghanaians say, get him off. By what you're doing, that means that the party is going against the wishes of the many Ghanaians who are calling for the head of the finance minister, not so?
Good evening to you and your cherished listeners or viewers. First and foremost, I will take our mind back to about 2 weeks ago, where a section of our members of Parliament held a press conference seeking the removal of our finance minister. I believe in the press conference, certain statements were made based on which they call for the press conference. For us as a political party, we are founded based on vision and our mission and aspiration. And Article 14 of our Constitution talks about parliamentary group, that every action or inaction of them must be in consonance with our Constitution. Since the press conference, there has been several engagements, discussions between our members of Parliament and the government, for that matter, the president. The position of the party is that if the finance minister is going to resign, or if the finance minister is going to be sacked, it's going to be based on consensus. It's going to be based on a clear understanding that it is in the interest of the party and the government. But we are not going to take an action based on what the NDC dictates or what the NDC wants.
Well, Mr. Kodia, but are you in government to serve your party, the NPP, or you are in government to serve the people of Ghana?
Yes, and that's quite the same point I'm trying to make. For instance, if you look at the motion paper that the NDC is pushing ahead, the content of it, the statement that they have raised, we disagree with them on many of those points. For instance, they are talking about illegal payment of oil revenues into offshore accounts, despicable conflict of interest, unconstitutional withdrawals from the consolidated fund, and the list goes on. And that is not the position of our members of Parliament. So if that's not the position of our members of Parliament, how can we support their censure motion? if the NDC wanted to act in good faith, and they believe that consensus building is key, what stopped them from engaging our members of parliament to sit on the round table and discuss on the items that these are the ones that we all agree we need to put in the motion paper? How can you unilaterally go and take a decision, and you are expecting our members of parliament to come and support you? That's like shooting ourselves in the foot. For us, and if we listen carefully to the press statement or press conference by our members of parliament, they were reiterating the concerns shared by Ghanaians about the state of our economy. And they'll feel that for where we have gotten to, we need a new person to take the helm of affairs. Those are very legitimate points that we can look into it. But those issues that have been raised by the NDC, we believe that it's ill-motivated and it's a self-centered motion paper that they want our members of parliament to support, which as a national party, we will not sanction or allow our members of parliament to go on that tangent. So it's very clear. Our position is clear. We are looking at various issues. They are still in consultation. They are discussing what has to be done. And I can assure you, at the end of the day, what would be in the best interest of good people of Ghana will surely be taken, but not with the NDC selfish interest that they want our members of parliament to follow.
But isn't this move something the leadership in parliament on your side could have done and not warrant the involvement of the larger party as you've done?
Well, that's a different discussion for another day. But for we as leadership of the New Patriotic Party, based on what is contained in the NDC motion paper, is what we are speaking about. And we feel that motion paper does not reflect the overall view of Ghanaians and, for that matter, our members of parliament. That's why we are giving that directive. So if our members of parliament, and for that matter, our party, believe certain actions and decisions have to be taken, definitely we will not shy away from it. But it's not going to be done under the dictates of the members of parliament from the minority side.
Now, earlier, the party had indicated that it was mediating between government and the majority MPs over Ken Ofori-Atta. Is this an indication that you don't think the finance minister should leave?
That's even far from that. That is not even the issue on the table now. For us, our position is very clear. Members of parliament from the majority side or majority caucus are there by virtue of the fact that they went on the ticket of the New Patriotic Party. The President, His Excellency, won the election on the ticket of the New Patriotic Party. And that has been the statement of our national chairman. They are our two children. And when there is an impasse or when there is an issue, it's our duty as mother of the two children to find amicable solutions to it. And I will state categorically that when it gets to that point, that the finance minister has to resign or has to be dismissed by the President, the party will not shy away from it. But what we don't want is for the NDC to dictate to us. As I speak to you, as a national party, there's an evaluation or assessment going on with respect to all government appointees to make sure that at least at the end of the day, we are in a good position to assess appointees of the government to see whether the mandate or the work that has been given to them, they are really up to the task or not. And when that assessment is done, trust me, the party will make its findings known to the presidency and push for where a minister has to be sacked or where an appointee has to be dismissed or transferred. All these things will come into play. But all these things are being done. But we will not be rushed or will not kowtow under the whims and caprices of the minority members in parliament.
Do I get the impression that you've not taken a decision regarding the Ken Ofori-Atta issue?
Well, it will be erroneous on your part to think that the party doesn't have a position. The party definitely has a position of whatever is going on. But at the end of the day, looking at where we are now, the party will take that firm conclusion, and for the firm conclusion to be enforced by the government at the right time. But as I indicated, it will not be done under the whims and caprices of the minority members of parliament.
But when is this the right time going to be when Ghanaians are calling for it? The people you serve, the people who give you the mandate to govern.
When you say Ghanaians, have we done a research to determine the number of Ghanaians who are making that call?
Okay, I'm grateful that you could join us. So that's Justin Frimpong Kodia. He is the General Secretary of the NPP. But you can...